Are we live?
Yep. Yes, we're live.
Hello, hello. I don't know what's going on, but thankfully Jimmy does. So,
No, he doesn't.
welcome you guys to our Sunday night Facebook Live. We're just trying to kind of work out a couple of things because we're going to have Crystal join on here in just a moment, and she's going to give us an update on how Visalia went. Let me see if I can find our live on here so I can see who's making these comments, because I'm seeing a lot of people are saying hello. Joseph. Oh, and Facebook is reminding me that I can't go live. Well, whoops. I'm live. So Joseph Beaton is on. Jim Manley. Kenny Harris, John Cannon, Lotella, Paul Belt, Lori Messia, which I saw you representing in San Diego. Good job, Lori. Wait, hang on. Where do we go? Tammy Mello. Hi, Tammy. And Matthew White. Hey, Matthew. We still need to, I still need to get a hold of you. I haven't forgotten about you. I don't want you to think we have. And then Melissa Brewer and Tracy Cannon. So anyways, I think I just about got everybody. Sorry, I think we were a couple of minutes late getting on to our live. Anyways, it was all crazy and we got everything done like kind of last minute, but I really wanted to get a live in here tonight because I wanted to give an update on Visalia Unified, Exeter, and Porterville. So what we're going to do now is, since we have Crystal kind of like in a holding room. In a holding room. Let's go ahead and bring her on because I feel bad that she's just sitting there waiting. Hi, Crystal.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm having a little volume problem on my end, so I can hear you guys, but barely.
Okay. I feel like we can barely hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn up. Oh, there you go. There goes my sound. Somebody's messing with it.
There, I just turned up some sound.
Can you hear me better?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that Piper behind you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Say hi, Piper.
No, that's okay. Hi, Piper.
How's Jacob?
Okay.
He's good. He's in the other room watching TV.
Where is the cat?
Okay, come on, baby.
Oh, the cat.
Anyways, so are you looking just for an update for VUSD right now?
Yeah, so I was going to give the update, but I figured I wasn't there. It's probably better to hear from somebody who was actually there and witnessed it firsthand. So if you want to give an update on VUSD, how it went, and yeah, just your thoughts and everything like that.
Okay, so Tuesday was interesting. This was going to be the first meeting we were going to where we were anticipating that they were going to be forcing the masks coming in. And sure enough, they did ask for everybody to take a mask. They also had face shields. And I had personally let them know I have a medical condition. They said it didn't matter, unfortunately. So I personally grabbed one of the face masks or the face shields, and I just kind of wore it around my arm the whole time. We went into the room and a good bunch of us were not putting the mask on. They did just kind of say, we have to warn you that if you don't, that we'll be asking you to leave. And that was the only one warning we got. And we were able to continue, no problems.
Wow.
So that seemed to go okay. I don't think anybody got out of hand or anything. I think it actually went pretty well. We just kind of let them know that, yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be putting them on. And we sat there and peacefully, everything else continued fine. It was great. And I think they even said too that they understand. And so we had some that were masking, some that were not. But I think that was a good a nice thing that we were able to get through, but also not be forced out in any way. So that went well. And then we ended up having quite a few parent speakers that came up. We had Mr. Joseph Beaton. He came up and spoke and gave some really great data on numbers. We had, myself, I spoke on 2 different topics. Melissa Brewer, she was awesome that night. I think she spoke like 4 times during the meeting, and just at different things. I know we had a boundary discussion about the new boundaries they're trying to set up, and then they had, I know we had our normal COVID talk. So there was a couple things there. So we had Melissa. We also had Paul Belt that came and spoke up. And I very much appreciated that. He did talk about the Rockland resolution
Mhm.
and reminded the board about that. He's already sent that to the board. When I spoke, I was talking a lot about the, we need to go back and consider whether or not we should be testing asymptomatic students, and just considering that because it is causing a hardship. If you guys are aware, there's just a lot of Omicron going on right now, and
Yeah.
it's causing a lot of hardships in the classroom, probably at different workplaces too, because you have everybody quarantining for lengths of time. And a lot of these individuals, from what I'm hearing, there's a lot that are actually asymptomatic the whole time. So I did bring that to their attention. Trying to remember if we had anybody. We had a new gentleman. I'm not sure if he's on this page, but his name was Joel Moore, I believe was his name. Father from the district, and he came to speak about the masks. He did a wonderful presentation just about that. We need to get us back to some normalcy. He's seen what's happening in his own kids. It was a very heartfelt message. So that was great. And one of the things I will say, I was very proud of our group of people that had attended. Was that when he spoke, we had Mr. Joseph Beaton that really encouraged everybody to stand kind of
Yeah.
when he was speaking. And so I have another video, I'll have to post it on our page, but where you can see all of us standing kind of in support with him while he was talking. And I think it was super effective. In fact, I think it's something that we should be doing at a lot of our meetings. It's very effective because then the board can visually see who supports that message. So that was really, really great. And then I'm trying to remember if there's anybody else that spoke. The one thing I can tell you too, I was super excited about is we had about 5 VUSD teachers that showed up. And they also too, like they were uncertain about masking or not. And then some of them masked, some of them did not. They kind of stayed behind us a little bit. But I think that's a great first step is that they're actually now coming, they're listening.
That's good.
And then the next day I actually got a call that we had a nurse in attendance that actually wanted to contact me. She had a lot of similar views. And so I'm in the process right now of kind of working to get a little coalition of some nurses so that hopefully we can present something to the board about things that we feel would be important to be doing. I think the dramatic part, VUSD always has a drama section in their meetings. I think the most dramatic part was they had I believe it was some wording in their policies regarding climate change versus environmental change. It was kind of like half the board wanted it to be environmental change. Actually, it was 3 of the board members wanted environmental change and the other 4 wanted it to be climate change. And so they kind of went around back and forth discussing why they wanted what they wanted. What I was very disappointed with is that we had a public speaker, Melissa, who had put in a request to speak on it. And what they did is they quickly rushed the vote before she could speak. And those are just the little tactics that we as I would say we as parents and community members, we feel like it is just not allowing our voices to be heard. She
Yeah.
put in the request before and we were all saying, hey, wait a minute. She put in her request. And Mr. President Guerrero went ahead and did the vote. And of course, it went 4-3, and we didn't even get a chance to speak. They let her speak after, but the vote was already taken. They did a motion in a second, and then they voted.
And at that point, what's the point of even letting her speak? It's like, are they
Exactly.
gonna?
And actually, it was funny because I think that's the first thing she says. She walked up and she says, not that it even matters, but
Exactly.
because, that's exactly what happened. So those are the little things that have been happening. Like, and it's funny. I never did board meetings until the start of the pandemic. And I've always heard like how this board operates, but I didn't really realize it until I've actually been attending. And now I see exactly what they're talking about. It's just, there's, when it comes to those votes and when they want something, they don't listen. They go with it. And so, I'm really hoping that we get some new people in there soon, that will be representatives of the people. And I'm hoping that for like, all the school districts, we need people that listen to their constituents and really understand where they're coming from and not do things like that. It's just really unethical.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. Now, I I have a question back to what Paul, can you hear me, Crystal?
It's very low. I trying to listen as
Oh,
best
he
as I
doesn't yell at
can.
you? I'm just
I
kidding.
have my volume all the way up.
So my question is, Paul Belt had brought up the Rockland resolution. Did any of the board members like reply to that? Like they think that passing a resolution like that is a good idea? Or did he make that during public comment where they cannot reply?
So what I remember happening, and anybody else that was there, they could also chime in as well. But what I remember happening was they, like, after the public comments, I believe it was Mr. Guerrero made a few statements about not like just saying, parents, I want you to understand, like we agree, we don't like the masks. Um, with his face shield that he wears, he's just like, we don't like these, we don't want to wear these, but we have to do what we have to do. We have to follow the law. It's kind of the typical stuff that we hear every week. There's definitely a claim that they would be breaking the law if they don't follow this guidance. And so that I remember that happening, but then later they do something called board reports, and they go with each board members. And I was a little disappointed because even my new area rep, sweet lady and everything, but all I get from them is we got things going on behind the scenes, but then they don't share anything. We don't know really what's going on. Just, oh, we got things going on behind the scenes and we're hoping things will change. It's kind of the same. And then we had our new board, I think it's Area 6, Randy Villegas. He did speak, he brought up something really important. So I was glad he did. He brought up possibly looking at doing like something with the mental health on the campuses for the teachers and students. Now, I actually thought that was a really good idea. I think that we need to start looking at that too. But the tactic he was looking at was maybe giving off some days for mental health days where they can take some time off. And right now, I'm not really sure if that would be the best approach with them missing so many days through quarantine and the missed days just from the lockdowns. So I get where he was coming from. I think it's an area definitely that we need to look at, especially for our kids and teachers. But I think maybe just kind of looking at the overall, like what else could be done. I do worry about attendance, just with everything that they've been through already. So
Yeah. And I wonder if the board has discussed, well, which I would imagine that you guys have brought this up to the board, is what the masks and the quarantines have done to our kiddos' mental health. So he wants to bring in a mental health aspect, which I think is great, but are they bringing in any sort of information in regards to the correlation between the two?
that's what I'm hoping that we will start getting pretty soon. Again, with this coalition of nurses, I've also been advised that there might be a counselor willing to come forward as well. And from my understanding, this counselor is saying that the anxiety and depression with these kids is through the roof. And so they are wanting, like, especially the nurse that I talked to, they're wanting to start coming forward. They're recognizing that this is not working for our kids. It's not working for the staff. And, it's interesting again that here you got other medical professionals, again, people I've never worked with. I've never even met them. They just called me for the first time last week, and we have very, very similar views on how we should be quarantining and how we should be testing. It can still be done safely, but there are ways to do it to where we're not like, losing out. Like we're not losing or wasting tests as well
Yeah.
either. Like we should be saving those for the ones that actually need it. So it would help us, not run through so many testing so quick. It would also help us keep people in class that really don't need to be out of the classroom. So, I hoping that we can put together something soon and approach the board and just say, hey, we got together and this is what we're looking at. So far they're not listening to the medical professionals that have come
Mhm.
forward. So I'm hoping that they'll listen to their own medical professionals that work for them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now, Lori, I want to read a comment that Lori Messia posted because I feel like this is something that needs to be read out loud. They just said they are doing things behind the scenes. Too bad what they do should be done in the public or a report of what they are doing reported to the public. They are public servants.
Mm-hmm.
And that I agree with. It's like, well, what are these behind the scene things that you're doing? As public servants, I believe that we deserve to know what that is. What are these secretive behind the scene things that you're doing? And if it's something good, is it something that we can come alongside you and help? I mean, how do we come alongside them and work with them and try to get any sort of resolution, if they're doing all these secretive behind the scene things? I mean, I don't know.
Exactly. It really, I think, would be a huge statement to the community if they would start letting the community be part of the process. And
Yeah.
that's the one thing I can tell you I've quickly learned, is that there's a huge divide between the parents and the board. And we've attempted, I've heard multiple people attempt to bridge that gap. And we're being held at arm's length. I mean, we're not allowed really the opportunity to be involved. I feel like we're presenting some great data and some things. I even said, I think in one of my presentations, is that they're not questioning things that should be questioned. And that's very concerning to me as I bring stuff up, not because I'm working for them or not because I really have to, but I bring up things that really concern me because of my background. I have a nursing background. And so when I see things that are being done and it's kind of concerning, I bring that to them so that they can do something about it. They can question things. And, we always get back the same, we're working on it. We get the same little reply back, oh, we're on top of it, but we hear nothing. It's just, it feels like, it feels sometimes like we're not really moving forward, but yet in a sense, I think community wise, we have been. So I don't want to
Mhm.
look down on things. Like I said, there was just a lot of good, like the speakers were awesome on Tuesday. I loved that we were standing in support of other speakers. I think if we continue to go with that kind of route and be very supportive and still professional, I think we're going to get more teachers coming forward and staff now. And I'm hoping that they're going to feel comfortable to start speaking.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's what we need. And these teachers and employees of districts, whether it's Visalia Unified or Tulare City or Tulare Joint or Exeter or Porterville, wherever, they need to know that they're not alone. I think a lot of teachers, employees, janitors, administrators, they all feel like they're alone. So they need to know that they're not alone, because there's others out there that feel the same way. So it was good that there were some employees from Visalia Unified that went to the meeting. I think that's good. And they need to reach out to other employees and kind of put some feelers out there, like, are you feeling the same way that I'm feeling? Like, we need to start attending these board meetings, because we're not going away. And as long as there's not freedom of choice, I'm not going to back down, plain and simple. And so they need to know that we're not going to go away, and I feel like you have been in the fight longer than me and Jimmy. I mean, you have been going strong for this entire 2 years. And so I just kind of want to give you a kudos. Good job, Crystal, for just for what you've done and what, you continue to do. So we're so grateful for you, and and everything you do and stuff. So thank you. And thank you for coming on like totally short notice and being willing to come on and speak. I feel like you did that way better than I could have. And I was like, I would rather have somebody on here who was actually there, who can give probably, better detailed information than if I tried to recap something that I actually wasn't at. So
Yeah, I was totally fine with the short minute notice. I just needed to change my shirt because I had an ugly Christmas sweater on and it was very embarrassing. So I'm just glad I had time to change my shirt. So
I kind of think you should have just worn it. I don't know.
I know
but-
it's a kitty cat that's entangled in lights. So anyways.
That's funny. Well, as you know, most of the times when we do our Facebook lives, like I'm looking a hot mess and I'm just like, well, it is what it is. They're just going to have to deal with it. I'm like, oh, well. So, all right. Well, thank you, Crystal.
Not a problem.
Talk to you later.
Okay. So that was the update for Visalia Unified. Yeah, it's kind of disheartening when they're like, well, we're working on it. And it's like, it's been 2 years, guys. Like, what are you working
They've
on?
had plenty of time to work on it.
Like,
It's time to move past that.
I get that things take time, and you can't just make a kind of make a rush decision, and stuff like that. But it's been 2 years almost. And in the meantime, our kids are suffering. So enough is enough. Okay, so that was Visalia Unified. Next, I kind of want to give an update on Exeter and Porterville. Exeter's, I was not at these meetings. I was going to see if Josh could come on and give an update, but he wasn't able to. So I'm going to attempt to give an update on how those went, even though I physically was not there. So wish me luck. Exeter had, I guess their board is run a little bit different than like other typical boards that I'm used to. It sounds like they had a lot of people there, which kudos to everybody who showed up. That's how things get done. It said that they had enough speakers to speak for an hour. So I guess they don't get like topped out after 15 minutes. Like most boards, you get like, you get to speak for 3 minutes and you top out at 15 minutes and then, and that's it for speakers. They got to speak for an hour. And then at the end is when they were served. Now you're going to have to help me with the clarity because I'm going to word it wrong. They got served. They got put on notice.
They got served notices, yes.
So will you clarify what that means?
I'll try.
Jimmy's still recovering from pneumonia, you guys. So that's why he's not talking.
She's making me do this. Somebody come rescue me. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I've
I've taken really good care of you.
You have. I know you have. And I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Um,
Just to clarify.
So the notices that got served were basically legal documents. If you've been at any of our more recent rallies, really the one in Exeter, we had several documents that we were asking you to sign for your local school district. One of those is a legal notice. It's basically a demand notice to show evidence of what are called clean hands, which means that this whole time when they say that this stuff, all the decisions are being made, for public health and blah, blah, blah. And it's not anything to do with money. We're basically demanding that they show evidence and proof that the decisions they're making have nothing to do with financial incentives or, following the money when it comes to that kind of stuff. We know they're not going to be able to do that. It's going to go unanswered, which is fine. it just builds our case when it comes to additional avenues that we'll be pursuing. So I apologize. I'm probably not making a whole lot of sense. I'm very foggy right now, and I know my voice is jacked up. So that's all you get.
That's fine. I think that makes sense.
Okay.
If I would have tried to explain that, they would have been left with more questions than answers. So Exeter got served and Porterville also got served. And when I spoke to Josh Flowers, I don't know if you guys are aware of who Josh Flowers is. There's him and a group of other people that are out of the Porterville area that started a group similar to Unmasked Tulare County. And so once we found that group, we kind of have all been encompassed together, and we're all working for the same common goal, basically.
Same team.
Yeah, we're all on the same team. So Josh Flowers is kind of like,
He's the leader over in Porterville.
yeah, he's like the Porterville, yes,
Yeah.
leader. Him and there's a team of, it's more than just Josh. But anyways, yeah, so they also served Porterville at their board meeting. And he said that afterwards that he stayed around and talked to a couple of the board members, and and that they were actually very surprised that people have still been attending board meetings, and that it's been consistent, and that it hasn't just gone away. They figured that it might, last for a little while, and then, we would just stop going.
Well, we've been saying this whole time that, any of these boards, any of these people who start hearing from us, believe they can just wait us out.
Yes.
I've been told that by so many different people. They're just going to wait you out. They're going to wait you out. They're going to kick the can down the road because they know a month, 2 months, 3 months from now, you're just going to go away because you've got stuff to do in your life. And, that's why from the very beginning, we've said this is a long-term fight. And I really wish I could say we could snap our fingers and make it all go away. But it is a long-term fight. And that's exactly the kind of thing that's one of the places we need to get to, is where they're like, oh crap, these guys aren't going to go away. Like, they are still showing up. They are still, they're picking up steam. They're not going away. And so like, once they realize that, then, you have a little better chance that they're actually taking us seriously. So that's good to know that at least in Porterville, they're realizing that, these guys aren't just going away.
Now, one thing that has been not disheartening, maybe disheartening with, for example, Tulare City School District is, not even Tulare City School District, it's probably all the districts really. They're saying, well, our hands are tied. Your fight is with Sacramento, not us. We're just doing what they're telling us. Well, I'm excited because I'm going to go to these board meetings and be like, we were in Sacramento. Where were you? How come you weren't there with us fighting?
Yeah.
How come you weren't there with us advocating for our kids? You're a school board member. Where are you at? You're MIA. You weren't there. You guys had every single opportunity to go and you didn't go. So now what? Now what's your excuse? I'm tired of your excuses. So, I agree, Crystal. They need to stand up with us in Sacramento. I completely agree. And it was disheartening that, they knew what was going on and they didn't show up. So I'm like, well, that, I guess, really, in essence, just lets us know that they're not on our side. They're not going to fight for what's best for our kids. Yeah. And okay, then we need to pursue the next, the next avenue of, whether it be recalling them or whatever the case may be. But we will. The last thing I think that I want to announce before we actually, let's go through some of these comments. Oh, yeah. Kenny Harris said in 1939, they would say, I'm just doing what they told me to do, or in just doing my job. Exactly. And where did that get them? Yeah, I'm not sure where they were. Francesca said, very well said. Where were they? I don't know, but they weren't in Sacramento. And you know what? I think I said this last week on our live last week, but with Sacramento, I want to say Tulare County, I think, had the largest group there of all the people. Of course, that's easy for me to say because a lot of us were wearing our unmasked Tulare County gear, so you could tell that we were all, together. But kudos to everybody in general that went, but huge kudos for all the people in Tulare County that went, because we had a huge, representation in Sacramento. It's just kind of unfortunate that we didn't have any board members that were there with us.
Fortunate, but not surprising.
Yeah.
At this point, we've given them every opportunity to stand with us, and they refuse to do so.
Okay, so Jim Manley said, let's serve Tulare. I'm going to talk about that really quick. We have not sent the inquiry we have 2 districts in Tulare. There's Tulare City School District, which is our TK8, and then Tulare Joint Union High School District, which is our high school. The inquiry has been sent to the city schools, and their board meeting is next week on the 25th, which is a Tuesday. And we're planning on serving them then. I was going to announce it next week, but I'll announce it this week too. So please mark it on your calendar on the 25th to be there. What time does their meeting start? 5:30.
5:30.
5:30. Their meeting starts at 5:30. So Tulare City School District, 5:30 on the 25th. It is a Tuesday. And let me see. There was something else I was going to say. Their address it's on Cherry Street. It's next to Cherry Avenue School. If you need
There'll be more information.
the address, we'll get that to you. Sorry, I wasn't planning on announcing that, but I decided to do it. Now, the Tulare Joint Union High School District, we have not sent them the inquiry, and their board meeting is this Thursday, but they do have an update on their COVID policy or whatever that's in the agenda. So I'm curious to see what I have not looked at the board packet that thoroughly yet. So I'm kind of curious to see what's in there that they're going to talk about. There is an agenda item. John Cannon, if you and Tracy are still watching, you're going to find this. Oh, thank you, Lotella, at 600 North Cherry. I was thinking it was 500 North Cherry, but 600 North Cherry, the 25th at 5:30. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be very fun. So going back to Tulare Joint Union High School District, their meeting is this Thursday at 6:45, 426 Blackstone in Tulare. John, check this out. I just pulled up the agenda. Action items, it says approve resolution number 2022-08, recognizing a state of emergency and reauthorizing teleconference meetings pursuant to AB 361. Now, from my understanding, they spoke about going virtual at the last meeting, and they didn't see the point in doing that. But it sounds like there's another, now they're trying to pass it again. I don't know. Jimmy, you think it's a nothing burger, right? Jimmy thinks it's a nothing burger. Maybe I'm just being dramatic, you guys. Sometimes I'm a little dramatic. I'm not gonna lie. You guys know this by now. You guys know me. But I don't understand why they had it last month and they all decided that it didn't seem like a good idea to do that, but now it's on the agenda again for this month. I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, that's all I have, you guys. We're going to jump off here. Jimmy's like, we're done, Marilyn, we're done. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for your patience and like listening to me the last couple weeks. Hopefully, oh, I want a virtual board. Wait, what? They want virtual board meetings again. So Andrea, I'm not sure. That's what I'm curious about. And that's the reason why I put that, why I said that is because the high school, Tulare Joint Union High School District's board meeting last month, they spoke about potentially going virtual again.
They did.
They did, didn't they? What'd they talk
That's
about?
what we thought it was going to be about. It's a dotting your I's and crossing your T's to avoid situations where if somebody has to join from their home does become a public place. It's the exact same thing it was last time.
Well,
It's a
then,
nothing burger.
okay, Jimmy says it's a nothing burger, and
I mean, unless I'm wrong, unless they've changed it.
99% of the time, he's right.
We'll see.
He's also still not feeling well. So
No.
we'll see. I don't know. But to me, it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Okay.
So we'll see. But I do think that it's important for us to be there. And then we'll plan on serving them February 3rd, their notices. So anyways, we're going to wrap this up. I think that's about it. I appreciate everybody. For everybody that joined us tonight, and hopefully we will see you on Thursday. Bye, you guys.